Hello, Beez Bladers. Welcome back and welcome newcomers to the channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day today. I know I am because we're checking out a new knife and this one is pretty darn cool. And the designer said, hey, give me all the suggestions you want. So feel free to go nuts in the comments. This is the KETUO KT-GRIFFIN. Would you look at it? Just look at it and all of its griffinness. Now, David, the designer, comes from a more tactical background, and that is very evident by all of the lines that you see in this thing. It is very, very crispy. And I already know some changes that he's made. I got this shortly after going to Blade Show and checking him out at Blade Show, and he is very enthusiastic and is all about wanting to make any changes. He wants to make this knife perfect because there's a pre-order going right now, and all of the suggestions are gonna go into making this El Perfecto. Now, you ready to see this blade? Pow! Right in the kisser. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Now that is some serious bladage. This has to be one of the meanest looking harpoon blades I think I've ever seen in all my days. The steel, the blade steel is going to be M390 blade steel with an HRC between 59 and 61. You have a generous choil up here. And you know what? Let's go ahead and just do a nice little, ooh yeah, I like that swedge. I do like the lines. Some knives are softened out. This one has major lines. You have plenty of room. You can sharpen all day long. And this is very different. We'll check out the Ergos here in a second. I like that the pivot is just a little bit different. And this is a button lock. The button is going to stick out just a little bit farther than this on the production models. And I'll get into that here in just a second. And I always love me some titanium with some milling. I am a sucker for milling. And it has a carbon fiber inlay. And this kind of goes in, kind of like, that reminds me like the side of a Mustang that looks like that on the old Mustangs. And then here's on the back, you have another one of these screws, which is very interesting, and a reversible pocket clip on a titanium knife is always fantastic. And check it out. Here's your pocket clip. The pocket clip is going to be softened up so it's not as grabby. This one here is very strong. It grabs your pocket on the exit, but you're not going to have to worry about that. That's already been addressed. You have a big, generous lanyard choil back. We have a lanyard choil. Have you ever seen a lanyard choil? And ooh, that jimping. Now I like that jimping. That feels really good. Some jimping on the back for the hand. And there it is. I wondered. I knew it said M390 somewhere. And let's see how it feels. Left and right. Oh man, it is rock solid. Up and down, it is rock solid. So no issues from that whatsoever. And let's see. Let's take a look here at our button. If we can get up in here and check a look. So there's your button. You're not going to be able to see the lockup, but it's a wraparound. It's wrapping around that big old stop pin right there and has a pretty solid lockup. Overall, this bad boy is 8.52 inches long. Your blade is 3.55 inches and it has a 3.12 inch cutting length. I like the fact that it has multiple deployments. And you know what? While we have it on the table, let's go ahead and see what it looks like next to the QSP Penguin, because everybody should have a Penguin, right? And this is a medium-sized knife. This is a full-size knife and it is tactically. Are we talking about pterodactyls here? It is tactically cool. It is, if you like the tactical kind of look, this is like kind of futuristic with all of the square lines. I do like it. Now, let's check out the action and the Ergos. Now, for your button, you do have to press down a little bit. I don't think it's that hateful. I'm not big on having the button stick out too far, but once you know that the button has to be depressed farther, I don't think it's that big of a deal for me. Now, with this flipper here, there's one thing is the jimping should wrap around the flipper. That way it grabs your finger and you don't have any slide offs. But I'm noticing that when I come back that I'm hitting this little ramp right here. So if I come down like this, I'm going to stop it. So this is definitely only a light switch action. And this jimping is going to be gone because this will grab your finger. This is going to be chamfered in. And actually, I'll show you what it's going to look like. Because I have to say that David, the designer, has sent me the best spec sheets I've ever seen on a knife. So this is what it looks like now. It's going to be changed and it's going to be chamfered in. That way it's not going to grab a hold of your finger and it's going to be a lot nicer on the fingernails. But back to deployment. So you can open it with the button very nicely. It is super smooth. I mean, it is really smooth. And now I can see, flipping it in and out, I can see how maybe just a little more button would help me keep it depressed. Don't be depressed. Now your front flipper, that works very well. And can we do it over the top? Let's see. Yes, you can top over the top flip it. And the reverse flick, that would be my preferred method with this knife. The reverse, Oh yeah, and it has a good acoustic to it. Like it, really like it. And the thumb, if I made a suggestion about the thumb flick, is make this hole just a tad, just a little bit more aggressive right here so it grabs your thumb. You want to grab your thumb so you can grab your thumb just a little bit easier, and that makes an easy thumb hole deployment. Right now, it's just a little soft. My thumb almost wants to slip off of it, but it's not too shabby. Now for your ergos, my hand is 4 inches from here to here, 3.5 from here to here, and from the bottom of my palm to the tip of my middle finger is 7.25. And the ergos are very nice, very, very nice. Now I am feeling this edge just a wee bit because it's gonna depend on the size of your hand and where your hand hits right here. So I'm usually not that big of a fan of where they force my fingers into a particular spot. So this one, my 3 fingers are fitting in here, and then it's a little thicker out here for my pinky, where a lot of times it comes in just a little bit. So for me personally, it's kind of just hitting me right there on this edge just a little bit. Now, holding it back like this, the one thing that I notice is this edge right here. But guess what? That's already been addressed, and I'll show you a picture. You can tell that he's listening to folks because he's gone from this abrupt edge to a more softened edge. Going to give you a little more room in there. So the things that I'm noticing that I would say, hey, you know, that would be a change, they're already going to be taken care of. Right there is a perfect example. Now look at this. This thumb ramp works great. The jimping is really good. And look at this. Oh yeah, we got some harpoon going on. So you're gonna be able to use this for some utility cutting. And how about the reverse? Oh, okay, I get it. Now I see the reverse grip, that right there, okay, now I get it. So reverse grip, that makes a lot of sense. If you're getting ready to do a barbecue and you got to really get into that chicken wing bag, swing. Oh yeah, this is definitely, yeah, that's going to be a mulch opener without a doubt. So I can see the tactical side of this knife because that is very comfortable. I like what he did with this. When I first looked at it, I was like, why is that shaped like this? But it makes sense once it's open because it just gives you a nice thumb ramp. Now, on the other hand, when I want to just flip it, like you can't light switch it because you're going to get stopped right there at the top of the front flipper. So it's going to be a light switch for the back. But for all of you folks that don't like back flippers, that's about as low profile as you can get for a back flipper. So I appreciate that. So you get multiple ways to deploy it and multiple ways to hold it. You can choke up this finger choil, which I'm not used to seeing them like that. It actually works very well. You can choke up and you have another ramp for your thumb right there in the poon. That is excellent for getting in there and doing some fine work. Maybe you're making that perfect hot dog stick or that perfect marshmallow stick. That is a great grip. This is definitely a utilitarian style knife. You're going to be able to use this tactically, or if you like the looks of it, just for everyday carry. I want to know what do you all think about it? Do you have any ideas? Do you have any suggestions? Look at this. This is sweet looking. Just everywhere that you turn this knife, you see something else that catches your eye. And by the way, another way, you don't have to use this thumb hole. You can use your middle finger to finger flick it from this fuller. So let me know and let the designer, David Jen, know. What do you think about it? Do you like it? Are you good, bad, and indifferent on the subject? Definitely subscribe and share this with a friend that would like to check out this knife or wants to see knives and EDC gear. And go watch this video. You're really gonna like that. And until I see you again in the lives or the chats or at the hive streams on Friday nights, remember, live life in the present, keep a Band-Aid handy, and don't cut yourself.